just looking at those clips, there were so many issues. The lack of communication, the being in the wrong spot, guarding the wrong guy, apparently in a couple of instances. I mean, can you write that off as just a bad night on the second night of a back-to-back, or are these habits that can come back to bite them over the long course of the season?
Well, this has been a trend this season. And, you know, direct line drives where you don't make somebody make a secondary move before they score, I mean, that's a recipe for disaster. And help is sometimes not the right thing, because you're in no man's land sometimes. As you saw, a lot of players not really helping on the ball, but then giving up the three-point shot. And that's a lot of times that we see the Lakers in kind of that middle ground area where they're really not doing anything defensively.
Yeah, and I tell you, you can talk about this stuff, but this stuff has to be drilled, and it has to be ingrained, and it has to be to a point where everybody's holding everyone accountable. And you don't see that from them defensively. Like, it's not who they are.
Right.
And I remember the comments Magic talked about, like, identity. Like, when you hear identity and culture, like, the players should hold each other accountable. And, like, right now, they don't even seem to have an idea of what good defense is. And listen, unless they get that rectified, they're going to continue to struggle, especially with the way the league is going now. With the new rules changes, new points of emphasis, you look at scoring, I think it's the highest it's been since the early 70s as a league. Man, if you're not in sync and in tune and committed on that side, you're going to get embarrassed consistently. Remember, this is a team, they were coming in this game, they were second in the league in scoring. And they were still having these huge issues, particularly in the fourth quarter. Now it's starting to seep into other quarters. And if they don't get it rectified, it's going to be a long season in LA.
We're going to hear from LeBron James any moment now. Before the game, some news, because you heard the reports about the conversation Magic Johnson had with Luke Walton this past week. Magic told reporters that barring something really unforeseen, Luke Walton is his guy for the rest of the season. Let's go to LeBron inside the locker room at Staples.
They've been playing, like they're the best team in the Eastern Conference so far, they just came out and just hit us right in the mouth, and it's going to be very, very hard to make a game out of that when you're trying to expend so much energy trying to get back into it.
I know you guys have talked a lot about defense. You've shown it in spurts. You're trying to get more consistent on that end. For you and from your vantage point, is what's the most disappointing thing about the defense tonight?
I don't look at I don't even really like to talk about disappointing. I just think we need to get better, and we have an opportunity to do that. We will. We'll take tomorrow off and get back into the film room and to the practice court on Tuesday. So there's a lot of things we could have done better today at the point of attack. We allowed them to get where they wanted to go, however they wanted to go to start the game, and they got into a comfort zone. And when you get into a comfort zone early like that, shots are going to fall.
Do you take anything away from the group that was out there at the end that fought to get it down to 10, or just the way you guys competed maybe quarters 2 through 4?
Yeah, I mean, second, third, and fourth, we played, Lakers basketball. The first quarter we just came out, sluggish, looked just like a back-to-back. Like we got in late and they put it on us.
Well, you've been in this game long enough to know that you have games like this. Is this would be one you would say, okay, this is one that we just had, and you put it out of your system and move on?
Yeah, but you still learn from it. We're gonna watch some film and things of that nature, but you don't put too much into it. I mean, there's games like this throughout the 82-game season where you just don't have it in it. We had it in spurts, obviously, but for the majority of 48 minutes, we didn't have it.
Were you expecting to go back in late in the game?
No. I talked to B. Shaw. He came over to me and about the 5-minute mark. It was more like the 5-minute mark, and asked me did I want to give it another shot or let the guys go who were in there. And I have been sitting so long, so I was okay with the unit that was playing well at that point in time to let them keep going.
When you have a young team like this, what's the key to them staying? To anybody staying even when you kind of are experiencing the emotional highs and lows of a season, emotional win last night, and then kind of a lopsided loss.
You just said it. I mean, for me, and what I've experienced in this league, you got to try to stay even keel. It's just as bad you can play for a month. You can round out a great month or two. So you don't look too much into it. You always just stay even keel, and when you come in, for games or you come in for practices and you're going for film sessions, you get better then. But, you don't never let the outside noise get to you. And if you do that, that can cause you a problem.
Is there something about getting your first big loss where it's like, okay, it happened, we can deal with it.
Thanks, everyone.
I appreciate it.
All right, LeBron James, who described the effort tonight for the Lakers as, quote, sluggish on the back half of a back-to-back. They did win in Portland last night. In terms of the defensive struggles in particular, where does he fit into this? Not only on the court, but in terms of that locker room attitude that GA spoke of a moment ago.
Well, as a leader of this team, I think he's right. You can't get too high or too low. You got to look at some of the positives, and you got to focus on getting better. In all the situations where he's made a transition, whether it be in the offseason going to Miami, going back to Cleveland, there's been that time where it's taken a while for them to adjust. Now, normally it's been offensively. This time it's defensively. And so I think that that's something that they're going to have to get in the film, watch. But it is coming off a back-to-back. They did have a big win in Portland. They are a young team, and I haven't counted the Lakers out of not being able to play defense.
And to that point, Candace, like those teams, when he went back to Cleveland, when he went to Miami, they had established stars. They had guys who had accomplished a lot individually in this league. The Lakers' young core, they haven't. Like, they haven't gotten to that point. So not only are they making an adjustment to playing with LeBron James, they're also trying to figure out how can I be more of an impact player at this level. And that's going to be a challenge for them and for Luke Walton. But ultimately, again, you're going to have nights where you don't have it, where the legs aren't there.
Right.
But that doesn't excuse the fact that they just are so out of sync in terms of rotations, commitment. I just don't see a real awareness from a defensive standpoint when you watch how they play. Like, they're confused half the time in terms of rotations. They're out there playing checkers defensively, and the offense is playing chess. Like, they don't understand what the offense is trying to do to them, and a lot of that is experience. And the only way to get it is learning through those mistakes. The question is, can you learn at a pace that allows you to still grow as a basketball player and a team?
Always fascinating when LeBron switches teams to see how it all develops. They're 4-6 now at this point. Toronto gets the win. They're 9-1 on their way to Utah tomorrow night. We've got lots more highlights from this Sunday coming up. The Jekyll and Hyde Philadelphia 76ers were on the road. That has not been a good thing for them this season. We've got pictures from that one. The Greek Freak flushing on Costa Koufos and just about anybody else who got in his way on Sunday as Milwaukee put up 144 on the Kings.